When'd you start painting? Like your first when you were a kid?
Well, the first time I ever remember showing a painting, I was in third grade, and it was a class project. Everybody painted a painting of a bridge, and everybody got to display their paintings at this, like, in the auditorium at the school, and we would sell them for the school, so it would raise money for the school, and everybody's painting got bought except mine. So mine was the only one left because it sucked, and I was mad. And then I never picked it up again, and I was always in the shadow of my dad, who was a painter. And I really started painting when I was like 22, when I moved out of New York, and I was isolated. I lived in Seattle, Washington for 6 months, and I worked on one piece for 6 months, and that was the beginning.
How'd you find your style?
Well, I've always been around artists and musicians, and you're around these very talented people. Being from New York, you're around just all kinds of, being a product of the 70s, you're around all these interesting, talented people. I was very fortunate to be around a lot of smart, talented people. And I don't know. I mean, you see one person do this, you see one person do that. You study some of the greats like Dali and Picasso, and the next thing you know, you just start creating things. And I definitely feel like I do have a style, but it's hard to really summarize that. How did I find it? It just kind of formed and keeps forming.
Yeah. Like when I see, like, everyone has a different perspective on everything they look at. But like when you finish a painting, like what do you see? Like what is it that you see? Like this painting, what do you see? I know you don't think too much about them.
I see something that's pleasurable to the eye after the product is finished, and this product is finished. Yeah. It's almost like, I don't like to compare myself to other people, but one time I heard Johnny Depp talk about, he just filmed The Lone Ranger, and they asked him, like, what'd you think of the movie? And he's like, well, I enjoyed filming it, and it was interesting, and I liked working with this person and this person. No, but what'd you think of the movie? He's like, well, I never watched the movie. We filmed the movie, and I was done with it. But paintings are different. What was the question?
Like, what do you see when you see the painting?
What do I see? There was intent behind this painting. It was intentional. It's a painting about one of the islands, one of the 4 islands of Japan. I think of Japan when I see the painting, but was what was going through my mind, when it was a white canvas, and then it turned into black, white, silver, purple, pink, and what do I see? I see a piece of artwork that I like.
Yeah, it's funny because maybe I think deeply about your paintings. Like I know you,
but all kinds of people see things,
things.
And I just shut up when people start. I see this, and I see this animal, and I see this. Did you intend to do that? And I'm quiet because nothing I could say is going to help that, really. I like for people to, some people go, wow, or I like that, or that's interesting, or why'd you do this? And I like the fact that everybody feels something or sees something or experiences something new when they are exposed to any artwork. So, but what do I see? I think I already answered that question.
Yeah. I see.
What do you see?
I think if I see, I can see it from different perspectives. I can see it as a piece of art it is what it is, and it's just a beautiful piece of art.
Thank you.
I focus on the colors,
the middle,
mm-hmm. and the eye. But I also see something deeper. Like I see the world, right? I see like the black and the silver
mm-hmm.
are like almost like the darkness of the world. And I see multiple layers, because from my perspective, it looks like layers. It looks like this is the final layer, this is like the next layer, and then this is the top layer. And that somebody has torn the top layer to reveal colors. And I just, I talk a lot about politics and the world and how dark the world is all the time. I probably need to stop, but I see this as like almost like this is the world, the darkness of the world.
Mm-hmm.
and that when you take off the layers of it,
Mm-hmm.
what remains is the human spirit. But I feel
Which
like
is essentially good from the beginning.
which is good from the beginning.
Yeah.
And I feel like our spirits.
Interesting.
I feel like I mean, this is just my own philosophy, but I feel like our spirits are at the heart of us is this good, free, loving, because I see love, spirit. But then with the layers that are on top of us that cause us to have certain personalities and live certain ways that the world tells you to live in order to survive, it's darkness. You know, I see when you take off those layers, this is the fundamental reality. I mean, that's how I see it. Your paintings,
I think that's great that's how you feel.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not the wrong answer.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
just
That's the cool thing about your painting. There's no wrong or right answer.
right.
And I love.
And there are layers.
Yeah.
A lot of my paintings have layers,
yeah.
which is something that's a tech. I don't know if technique is the right word. Sorry if I interrupted, but I like depth in paintings.
That's
Yeah,
the word.
I like depth.
I can't say the word.
You just did.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Because I mean, I feel like your paintings are so psychedelic. These are the things I see when I've done shrooms before.
Mhm.
Like, literally, this reminds me of something that I would see with my eyes closed. Like, just imagine.
It is trippy, isn't it?
It's super trippy. But
I was completely sober when I painted it. Yeah.
But for me, I feel like the world is very ordered, and this sort of like, not that this is bleak, but this is sort of not plain either.
Organized.
It's organized, even like the way
Yeah.
that exists, and it's an organization.
Well, it's clean and organized.
And then when you strip it, you got
Right.
this beautiful disorganization.
Uh-huh.
It actually is kind of organized in
well,
some sense.
maybe you're onto something here, because this is essentially the cherry blossom bloom, which happens in the United States in
It's supposed to happen in like April.
late March, early April, usually early April rather. And this is the blooming of the blossoms. That was my intent.
Yeah.
So we acquired the cherry blossom trees from the Japanese. I think it was 1908. And the cherry blossoms has always been a theme that I like to paint into. And I love Japanese culture, art, fashion. I'm just into it, and I just can't get away from it for some reason. And this is a new painting revolving around the bloom of the blossoms.
Yeah. And I feel it's funny when we first met. Well, we first met through the phone. Like, we talked.
Yes.
And you told me. I never forget. I was in the gym, and I got an email. I got an email from somebody that a mutual, not even a mutual friend, somebody I know that you couldn't remember. Which now that I know you, I get it. But she's like, hey, this guy's an artist. I think he may need some PR help or some social media help. I don't know, but like, hit him up. And I hit you up, and you're like, yeah. He's like, yeah. Okay, so look, this is the deal. You're like, look, we're gonna grow this company with or without you. We're gonna be $1 million company with or without you, without help, whatever. He's like, I've been doing this for years, and like, my stuff is good. And it's like, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? But I'm like, who is this guy, man? Like, this is refreshing. We're from New York, and I feel like New York is such, when you are from New York and you you leave the city, you understand how different you are than the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And I know people don't, people hate on it, but it's such a gritty.
them.
Yeah, fuck them. Right?
Sorry.
It's such a
Sorry, not sorry.
It's like I heard somebody say this yesterday on a podcast. This guy's like, when you're from New York and you leave and you see another person that's from New York, you immediately know.
Yeah.
And it's this it's
their
almost,
way. It's their
way, the way
pace.
they walk.
It's their vibe.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of New Yorkers. I'm just like, I don't even waste my time saying see you later. I'm already walking the other way.
Yeah.
But I was definitely looking for some help with marketing and branding and things of that nature, and I like to try to connect some dots, and I reach out to people, and I reached out to this lady, and the lady was like, well, I don't think I'm from you, but this guy Derrick, he's interesting, and he might want to, and that's how that started. So I'm very thankful for that connection. I'm very happy to be here, and I respect your taste level, and I'm glad this painting is now going to be, here for a bit, and I love it.
Yeah, I say that because when I heard you talk, and I'm like, oh, this guy's a fucking asshole. I love it. Like,
Yeah.
that's because I
Yeah.
told my wife, she's like, so you're gonna work with him?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. That's
Yeah.
those are my people,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But then when I saw so I was expecting a whole different type of art for some reason. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe
This is the good side of me. I like to say this is the side of me that I'm very proud of. I'm not proud of every side of me. Not that I'm an evil person, but I never feel like I'm doing something bad when I'm painting. Not that I'm doing bad things otherwise, but this to me is, I like being a prolific painter because the world needs art. The world needs not AI, chat GBT
GPT
created stuff, robotic. This is, sitting down with some paints and getting to work. This is what I like to do.
And that's the thing about, and talking about ChatGPT. So I mentioned the first conversation because I didn't expect your art to look like this. I thought it was gonna be like realism and like, and literally I was thinking like it's gonna be stuff of the city. I don't know. You exuded such grittiness.
Yeah.
Then when I see your art, I'm like, holy shit. It's not what I expected,
Right.
in a good way.
Right.
But you still,
Interesting.
I've seen enough of your pieces to see that you still got that grittiness in it. It's like you combine this grittiness
Bold.
with beauty. Like, it's bold, but I call it gritty.
But pretty.
Pretty, but it's gritty, right?
Bold and beautiful.
And so when you're like, I just kind of paint. I'm like, dude, this is you.
Oh, no, this is me.
Like, this is you, man.
And I'm very proud of it.
Yeah.
If I sign something, my name is Jonas Raider.
Don't worry, we'll do all that. We'll do it.
Yeah.
We'll do all that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm proud of it. I take a lot of pride in this, and not everybody likes it. I've heard people say my 6-year-old could do that. And, I say to myself, that's not very nice, but maybe it's true. I don't know. But it's people seem to like my work, and I'm very, very thankful.
Art is weird though, man. Like, so I have the Guggenheim book over there, and I went to the Guggenheim. There was this artist that it was the whole building was her exhibition,
Mm-hmm. Wow.
and literally it looked like. And I appreciate art, so I didn't necessarily see it like this. But then part of me is just like the regular guy who I'm like, it looks like she literally put a bunch of garbage together, and then splattered it all across the floor in the Guggenheim.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I think that's why people like my 5-year-old could have done this. Like, why is this worth $1 billion? So like, I'm not an artist. So
Maybe
like,
because they're popular.
yeah, but how does somebody go from?
I don't know. There's a lot of there are a number of talented artists from my perspective that I'm just perplexed that they want $2 million for this painting, or or whatever the numbers are. It's it just doesn't make sense to me. But who am I to judge? You know, I mean, Rothko is not one of my favorite painters. He paints very solid, or painted very solid. Just big rectangulars. 2 or 3 colors. It's like I didn't. It's definitely his style, but they're very expensive pieces of work. Do I think he's anything special? No.
Yeah.
Is he in MoMA? Yes.
Like how? But is that like a political thing?
I don't know.
I saw a painting that was a white canvas, and it looked like the person just did a perfect square and a perfect circle. I was like, that's a really good square and a really good circle. But
Right.
why the hell?
Yeah.
Is this
Well,
in
at that
MoMA?
Art Basel, there was a canvas with a banana, a full banana with a piece of duct tape over it, and I think it sold for like $200,000. That was, so I've never sold a painting for $200,000. And I mean, you might not love this, but I think this is better than the banana painting with the fucking piece of tape on it.
But is it politics? Is it just people who just get in with the right people?
Maybe.
Or is it
I'm not that hip.
absurd? It's just
I don't know.
Because some of it does seem absurd. It seems like a joke. It seems like absurd.
It might be politics. I'm not hip to that. I just play it very straight. I do my work, and if people eventually get to see, I've done Art Basel. I've done shows. I've done shows in New York City. I've done shows in different states. It seems as if people like my work. For some people, but
I like it.
I don't understand the banana deal. I don't understand it. But good for that guy with the banana that got the money. Right. I mean,
He can paint more bananas with the money he got from the banana.
Maybe he'll paint a banana this time.
Do you how do you one thing I admire is your hustle. Like where does that come from? The hustle. just a pure like I'm gonna go get it and keep and getting sustain it and keep going.
Well, I was very fortunate. I grew up in a family of, besides artists, they were business people. So they were, I was selling pillows and pillows from my grandfather's mattress store on Myrtle Avenue in Brooklyn, on the street, 2 for $7. So I was always handling things. I was always, delivering food, selling newspapers, So sales is something, and most artists do not have the skill set to sell, but I'm always showing, selling. The hustle is, I like the hustle. I like running after the guy in front of me that's running faster. The hustle is like part of my upbringing and my blood. I enjoy it. I like the art side, and I like the let's somehow get my work out there. Let's put it up here. Let's gather people to look at it, because it's something I'm very passionate about. I guess it's passion. And you can't stifle passion. I don't talk about hustling. I just hustle.
Do it. Yeah.
I mean, how did I meet you?
Yeah.
I hustled.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm nobody. I'm Jonas. You don't know me. This person said, that we should link up. Let's link up. Can we talk for 5 minutes? And here we are, 8 months later, or however long it is, right?
Bro, it's been like...
Is that true?
Rough? Yeah. I think it's... How long has it been now? I think it's been a year.
Maybe it's a year. Might be a year.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Could be a year.
Yeah. So when you talk about... When I think about hustle, I think about what you just said about AI.
Yeah.
And how... I don't know if it's becoming a thing or not, but I've used those AI tools and I've created magnificent pieces of art.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it's soulless.
Yeah.
But I think about the new generation of people, kids, whatever, who are gonna be inundated with just AI everything. Yeah. And I think about that the people who are now the gatekeepers in the art world, when they die, you're gonna have all these 10-year-olds who are going to be the gatekeepers in the future. And I wonder what, like, I don't know if you think about this stuff, but do you wonder what the future of art can be with these technologies and with...
Well, I know that, I don't even know if you could be included in the conversation because you're significantly younger than me. How old are you?
I'm 37.
You're 37. I'm 52.
Damn.
So I am probably the last generation that's going to remember what it was like before the internet. So I think there are going to be a group of people. What was the question exactly?
Like, it wasn't a straight question.
Yeah.
That's why. It's like, I'm thinking about the fact.
There are people going to be interested in real art. I don't know, real art. There are people that are going to be interested in art that's not created by a robot. There are going to be a number of people. I think young people that are contaminated with the internet or AI are also going to be interested in looking at real art, because you can't eat that same porridge every day and like it. It gets boring. There is a human spirit in there, even though these people are, they're on their phone, 24 hours a day. They just have to be shown it. They have to be in the room with it. You have to show it to them. So it might not be the most popular thing. I know AI is a big thing. I know ChatGPT is a real thing. I mean, my friend is a real writer, and there was a ChatGPT written about a thing that we collaborated on, and I thought like a writer wrote the article, and the minute he read it, he's like, yeah, that's a ChatGPT article that wrote the article. And I was like, oh. Yeah. And it seemed kind of like a stale piece of toast to me.
The sucky thing, though, man, is that I don't know when that was. That probably was the 3.0 version, and now this 4.0 version is insane.
Yeah.
And it feels, because the thing about ChatGPT that people aren't I don't think people talk about enough, is that this whole thing, we're sort of being tested, right? We're being used as sort of a
we're guinea pigs.
So ChatGPT's main goal.
Not, but I'm not in this world. Yeah. I'm in my own little world, painting at the table by myself in the corner in the dark.
Yeah. So. ChatGPT's main goal, at least right now, is to be a human. It's to understand the human race. So all the
So fucking stupid.
but it's sick. So they opened up this open AI.
It's not going to get me sick.
They opened up this thing so that people can use it. Not like, hey, we have this product that's great.
Yeah.
They're only giving us a small percentage of it. But really what it is that we go in, because I think 100 million people signed up for ChatGPT in the first, week or so? It was like some record. And so it's learning how people speak. It's learning how people ask questions. And the better you are at asking ChatGPT questions, the better it answers. So it encourages people to find out ways to speak better. But it's crazy. It's at the expense of like natural language. It's like, how do you speak better so that you can give better prompts to ChatGPT? One, and then two is learning how the human brain works, and which is scary. So that's why it keeps getting better and better. So eventually, it could create a painting of Jonas. Well, right now we can do that. You can actually type in, make a Picasso style painting, and it will create an original Picasso, which is insane. Like, it will paint a painting that looks like it's an original.
Even though Picasso didn't paint it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So
to be honest, I know they're selling it. I'm not buying it.
I wouldn't buy it.
Meaning like it just doesn't pull me in at all.
Yeah.
I think it's, but I'm a dinosaur, a young dinosaur. I mean, I watched Raiders of the Lost Ark the other day. Remember the first Indiana Jones movie? And it's one of my favorite movies. There's no CGI in there. None. And it's just an unbelievable action. It's not really science fiction, but it is a little bit. It was such a good movie. I'm like, why would they create CGI now to make these movies? Like, it just is, to me, it's like just a bunch of garbage.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and I guess that's the artist in me. I've read a little bit and I've learned a little bit recently, like, you can get an original painting created by the computer. Like, yeah, I guess you could, but I don't want one.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm old school. I don't know. I mean, I'm a dying breed. I get it. That doesn't mean I'm going to fucking stop what I love to do. And I do think there's enough people on the planet that will appreciate this.
Yeah, I think so.
Not that it's all about me, but I have an opinion. I'm not a big fan of. I don't even own a computer anymore. I let that thing die. It's bad enough I have a phone. I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's good that robots are, they might be free. They might do it very efficiently. They might, I don't know. It's just.
I think it's sick, man. I think that what's happening.
Do people think anymore?
That's what I was gonna just say. I think that what's happening is that
I do.
We're getting to a place where
there's no thinking.
There's no thinking.
Right.
And I have to stop myself from using technology because I'm in public relations. It's so easy for me to. I don't have to write a press release anymore. I can get paid and just put it through the ChatGPT system, and it can write a press release better than me. But I just can't get into it because it feels morally wrong.
Right.
But that's just me because I'm in my generation. I'm a dinosaur. I'm an old. I'm a millennial. But I'm like the cutoff.
You're an old millennial.
You know what? I'm
Are
actually
you an
not
old
an old.
I don't know.
I'm actually not. I thought I was. I'm a younger millennial, but
you are? Okay.
I'm a little on the younger side. But I look at the people the younger kids or whatever, 20s and mid 20s and younger, they're literally just struggle to think. So if I give someone who I've hired an assignment, I don't get back something that makes any logical sense to me. It looks like it's going through a computer, which it has, and I've had the experience of giving somebody directions on an email, like pretty long directions on, hey, I want you to do a press release on this topic with this company. Make sure you talk about this, talk about that. Don't forget to do this, put in the quote. And I think that they're copying and pasting my email as a prompt for ChatGPT and just click, and it does the whole press release. So that's what we're seeing now. And I think that, and with my kids, my wife and I are constantly saying, you have to think.
Yes.
We walk them through.
The brain is a muscle. It needs to be used.
The brain's a muscle.
Yeah.
So I wonder, like, what the future's going to look like, period. But then, two, when it comes to art, I just feel like art is going to be valued more than ever in the next, I'm thinking 50 years from now.
It might.
It's going to, because people are going to value original pieces because they may be more rare. I would imagine less people are going to do real art than now. Right?
That might be. See, I don't really pay attention to what's going on really much. I'm in my own little place and I have my ideas and I explore them. And hopefully the world accepts it. And if they don't, that's okay. I mean, what am I going to do? Not do it because, this is something I love to do for me. I do this for me. I create for me. And of course I want to share it. But if the world doesn't accept me as an artist, that's okay. But the world already has. Yeah. I've shown my paintings to enough people. I was confident from the go because I've put a lot of time into this and effort. And, I do think ChatGPT and this AI shit is it's like cheating on an exam.
It is.
Some the other day I was adding something up. I was was adding up a bunch of numbers. I was 32 plus 15 plus this, whatever it was, 4 or 5 numbers. And the kid was like, how'd you do that? I'm like, basic math. No, I didn't pull out my phone. No, I didn't talk to my phone. What's 32 plus 9? You don't know how to use your brain? I looked at him. I was like, what are you, fucking stupid? I didn't say it, but I wanted to say it. I guess you're fucking stupid.
It's true.
Yes, it's sad.
But then think about it.
So everybody out there, have your kids not use a calculator. Let them use their brain. Let them read a book. Kids need to read books. Books. Remember what books are? I read them. My son reads them. It's important.
Yeah. I had
Is it not?
It's very important. My 14-year-old had a play date, and I was daddy daycare for the day with a bunch of 14-year-old young girls. And I was like, okay, we could put movies on. I was setting, I bought them snacks and I was setting them up to do their little thing. And one of the girls was like, oh no, I can't watch movies. I'm like, oh, you're not allowed? She's like, no, I can't sit through an hour-long movie.
I can't. Yeah.
You can't sit through an hour? No. She's like, no, I have. She's like, I have to watch short videos.
Yeah.
I'm like, so what do you watch? She's like, I'm just on YouTube.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that and filmmaking is an art, right? And I think that kids are lacking
real filmmaking. Yeah,
real filmmaking. I think kids are lacking perspective now.
Because their parents just go like this. Like if the kid's being bad, they just say, "Yeah, play with your tablet. See you later."
I mean, dude. We have my wife and I have the issue now where there's some days, man, especially like a Saturday morning. We're like, just where's your iPad? Why are you here? Like, take your iPad. Let us relax.
Yeah.
But it could become a habit, and too many parents I talk to.
Sometimes it's okay.
Sometimes okay.
Sometimes it's
okay.
But
too many parents I talk to now are like, dude,
often.
I'm trying to get them off. I'm like, just take the fucking iPad from them.
Yeah. You got to get away from them. It's not healthy. Go outside and play.
Exactly.
Go figure it out.
Yeah, man. What was I gonna ask you? How often do you paint? Every day?
I paint. It's not like I keep track of it, but it seems as if I'm painting every day. I mean, my fingers have paint on them, so I've been painting a lot recently. I can't remember really not painting or creating artwork. It seems like it's, some days. I have a drafting table in my room. There's a table just about this size, and there's some things I'm working on now. So every time I go into my room, which is every day in my house, I'll play with it for 5 or 10 minutes, or 4 or 5 hours, or 8 or 10 hours, or I'll go through the whole night, and I'm at it. This is what I do.
Yeah. So don't overthink this response.
Okay.
But do you feel a spiritual connection to your painting? Like, is it Jonas painting or is it Jonas spirit? Because I hear that about a lot of artists, or just a lot of people who just have a thing that they love to do.
I read once or heard once that the artist is God, with the bridge from God to me. The God is giving me the power through the bridge to create the work. I mean, to me, that's a little bit like. What was the question? Is it spiritual?
Is it you painting, or do you feel like are you having a spiritual experience, or have you ever had a spiritual experience? One, and then two, generally speaking, do you feel like it's you painting, like your physical person, or do you feel like it's coming from a deeper place? So you can answer that question.
Well, paintings come from deep places. Artwork for me comes from very deep places. I mean, I spent a lot of time in different states. I didn't have friends, and what the fuck was I gonna do? Go out to a bar? No, I'd rather just paint. I wasn't seeing my son for a very long time suddenly because my ex is a bitch. And I just said, well, what can I do that's good? Let me paint something. So pain, anger, sadness, euphoria, happiness. I can't think of something I would prefer to do on a day off except to paint. But in terms of spirituality, I mean, my dad was a painter, amazing painter. He's gone. Sometimes I feel like when I'm painting, I'm very close to him or he's very close to me, which is nice. And yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because do you ever see any? Have you been around folk people or just been in the presence of somebody doesn't really give a shit about their art? They're kind of just like,
oh, they're just doing it to maybe make money. I don't know if I've physically been around people. There's a lot of kooky people out there that are trying to put out art out there, from my perspective, that are just, trying to make $1, or they're trying to get popular, or they're, I'm a pretty good. I have a pretty good bullshit detector. Like, did you really, is it really cerebral? Did you really spend time on it? Yeah, it looked like you spent 10 minutes. I mean, this didn't take me 10 minutes. Maybe you think it did, but it didn't. I know how long it took. I mean, it didn't take 4 years, but it didn't take 10 minutes either. So, this is probably 15 hours of work, maybe 20. I don't remember exactly. You gotta let things dry and reapply. And where do you want, look at it for a while. And, things have to be balanced, in my opinion, because I like things kind of in order. To me, this is in order, even though it's completely out of order. That makes no sense. But, yeah, I think there's a lot of talented people out there also that are putting out quality artwork. But those people, I applaud them. But the people that are not, like I say, we were talking about this earlier. Kobe Bryant used to go up to people like before practice. He'd be like, I'm not fucking passing you the ball, just to let you know, because you haven't practiced. So I feel the same way. Like, I mean, this is nothing substantial, bro. You didn't do anything here except, maybe you spent 15 minutes here. Picasso could paint something cool in 15 minutes, or Dali could. Not a lot of these like artists that are just they're trying to get popular, they're trying to cultivate something substantial. A great tree doesn't grow quick. It takes time. Not that this is a great tree, but I think it's a pretty good one.
I like it. I think it's great.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So, like, can you talk about that hustle, like, a little bit, I don't want to say the struggle, but, like, you always hear about the starving artist.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what does that really mean? Like,
well, nobody needs a painting. Nobody needs one. You need food. You need to sleep somewhere. Yeah. So rent and food and maybe a car to get to the job. If you go to work, unless you're selling, newspapers in your underwear at home, I don't know, on a computer. But the starving artist thing is definitely real. I mean, there were years I did not have a job and I was just selling my paintings primarily, which put a lot of pressure on me. Then I turned into a little bit more of a salesman. Now I have a job where I have a decent flow of money and now I just paint, and my sales are better because I'm not pushing the art. I don't want to sell you nothing. I want to show you everything though. So, and if you want to buy it, great. And if you don't, somebody else will buy it, and that's cool. But this starving artist thing is real, especially now. The economy is not great. Food is very expensive, is it not?
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah. I mean, everything's expensive.
Yeah.
So, but the perseverance, I'm only talking from my own experience. If you keep putting out quality work and you keep being uncomfortable in the world, meaning, you might, I mean, I haven't done this very often, but it's good to be uncomfortable. It's good to be on the spot. It's good to get yourself out there. If you get yourself out there and you keep producing quality work that you like, that you're proud of, things usually happen. And that's been really what's been going on with me. It seems as if I'm in my 9th year of deciding to be an artist full time. I mean, yeah, I have a side job, but that's not my career. This is my passion and my career. This is my path. I'm going down with this ship if it goes down, but it's not going down.
So what keeps people going? I mean, I feel like you have
in general,
just like with art, what keeps the starving artist moving and moving and moving and pushing and pushing?
Because he loves it.
Because he loves it.
He loves it. Because every once in a while, you have your pole in the water, and you catch a very big fish. You know, when you sell a painting for $10,000 or $5,000, it's like, something that you created, not something that you bought from somebody else and resold. No, this, it was a blank canvas at one time, or a blank piece of wood, or a blank piece of paneling, and I painted something that I liked, and I put it out there for the world to see, and somebody paid me a significant amount of money for it. It's a hell of a rush. It's incredible. It's very empowering. So, and I like working for myself. I don't like having a boss. I'm not a sheep. I'm that person that is going to take a chance on the open ocean because I know I'm a good swimmer.
That's why I love artists, man. I mean, I'm not an artist, but I've always. I mean, growing up in New York City, we have everything at our disposal.
We do.
But I used to do
especially art and music.
Yes.
And culture.
That's why I miss it.
And oh yeah, every day.
Virginia's not, it ain't hitting it. But I used to go to Noma.
But nothing would hit it.
Yeah.
Nothing. Nothing hits New York like for a New Yorker especially.
Yeah, it's just different, man.
Yeah.
But I used to go to MoMA every single, the Museum of Modern Art every single month for my school.
Oh yeah.
And I really had to have an appreciation.
It's a dream of mine to hang a painting there. By the way, it's a dream.
I went last year, man.
Yeah.
It's a whole, it's a feeling, right?
Oh yeah.
You get when you walk in there.
Can I tell you a quick story? The last time I was there, I think it was 2018. A girlfriend that I had at the time, who were still very good friends, wanted to go there, and we went there, and there was a Picasso painting there, and I looked at it, and there was a bench right behind me, and I literally sat down because I needed to, and I looked at it, and I said to myself, I go, I can't believe that guy is that good. So to me, art is, when somebody looks at a painting, mine, anybody else's, and they get that feeling like, this is incredible. I've had people look at my paintings sometimes and be like, wow. And it's not a buy that they were intentionally looking to make. It was just like, oh, I want that. How much is it? Forget about the money right now. Are you sure you want it? Let's say we could make the price work. Let's just say we could. Let's say it was $1. Well, of course. Okay. So you love it, right? They have to love it first. And then, then I used to backtrack it to it, but now I'm a big shot now. Not really. And now there's a price and it gets sold. But art, if it moves you, it's right. And that's what I love about art. It moves you just like music. You hear a beautiful piece of music, you're just like, oh man, this is unbelievable. I mean, I heard Prince play the guitar for the first time. I didn't even know he played guitar like 15 years ago. I was like, what the fuck? How could you be that good at that? I didn't even know you did that.
Yeah.
So it moves you. That's why you pay the $300 to see him, that's why all these people pay all this money to see Taylor Swift. Not that I really know any of her music, but I've heard through people that I respect, like, she really is phenomenal. Fine, you deserve the money. And if you can't afford to go see her in concert, watch her YouTube video. Yeah.
That's why I love just the concept of art. That they say that you only live as long as the last person to say your name, right? And I think about the staying power of art, just it existing. And how you're putting out pieces of when somebody buys your art. That's why I said from the beginning, this is you. I see you in this, right? And like you're putting out
Thank you. I like
bits
that.
and pieces of yourself that people are gonna have. That people have in their homes.
I love it.
That people see.
That's one of my favorite things. Like, I mean, I have all these. A lot of my friends have bought my work. Very, very fortunate, and people that I didn't know, and my work is in their homes, and it's a very, very humbling. I'm very thankful for that. I'm very proud of that, and it ain't because of my charming personality necessarily.
So what makes like I'm not an artist again, but what like when you saw that Picasso?
Yeah.
What is it about the Picasso that made you say it's so good? We're talking, and this is
there's a few things.
And I should give you the context. The context is like the painting with the ball and the line, the banana, whatever.
Yeah.
Compared to like what makes a Picasso so good?
Well, the one that I saw, I've seen Guernica in person. So let's talk about Guernica. Is an amazing painting that Picasso did. I don't want to say it wrong. It was essentially about the bloodshed of a specific war. I think it was a Spanish war or something to that effect. You look at it, you're like, yeah, this guy captured the war in an abstract style. The cows and the horses being slaughtered, the swords with blood draining in an abstract form. His colors alone. I mean, he's a master of color, a master of style, a master of feeling, a master of depth, a master of balance. And when I look at somebody like Picasso or Dali or Lichtenstein or Monet or Mata or any of the greats, you could tell that that some of the paintings were early and they practiced so much and worked so diligently. I mean, Monet was in jail looking out the window, painting the scenery, an abstract version of the scenery in a small cell. You know, like the guy, what else could he do?
Yeah.
So, there's a feeling there. I mean, I don't pretend to be perfect. I'm a 52-year-old person that's been through life already. It wasn't easy. It was very, very, very painful at times. I almost didn't make it. And I feel like art was one of the things that definitely saved me. I was able to breathe better when I would paint. I was able to function better when I would paint. I was able to communicate in a way that I felt I was, that I wanted to communicate. I didn't want to say nothing. I just wanted to paint and be like, not to be popular, not to be like, look at me. No, I wanted to scream. I wanted to cry, but that didn't work. So, and I did that plenty on my own, but I don't want to do that in public, but I could do this.
What did it save you from?
Well,
This is us.
no, I know. And it's a long time already. I met a girl that I did business with in New York. Quick story. And next thing you know, she's pregnant, and I'm moving to Georgia to raise my son, my unplanned son, who's now 15 and a half years old. And she was able to take him from me. And, being a loving father that wanted to be there for his son, I was in extreme amount of pain, and I became addicted to Valium to dull the pain. And then I realized quickly that that was a very bad idea to get into that drug to kill the pain. So even though I dabbled with art while I was in the pain, until I really immersed myself into the art while I was in pain was when I really felt the healing. Yeah. So the art, I mean, I say to lots of people, if you don't want to work out, which is, I understand, not everybody wants to go to a gym, not everybody wants to go for a walk, not everyone wants to take a yoga class or play tennis. Buy a canvas. Have a good time. Nobody's judging you. You don't have to show the world. Do it for yourself. Practice. Try to get better. Maybe you'll like it. I like it. It does it for me. And this is also something I've always been around. My dad was a painter. It's like, I'm part of an artist's family. It's just who I am. Yeah. What I've always been around.
So your son, would you say if your son could see this, see this piece, or just know exactly what it is you're doing?
Yeah.
Know that you're pouring yourself into your art.
Yeah.
What would you tell him?
I would tell him that you were always on my mind while I was doing this. Always and never are very strong words, and I don't like to speak in absolutes. I think it's kind of evil, so I take that back. as I painted every painting since he came into the world in 2008, March 24th, I can say with complete honesty that every painting I've ever done, he was in my mind. And that gave me strength.
Okay, man. Cool. Thank you for sharing, bro.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this, man.
Thank you, Derrick. I love you.
Yeah, man. Love you too.
Yeah.